Lack of flexibility shouldn't scare anyone from starting a yoga practice. This is part 2 of our Yoga for Flexibility series. Hi, my name is Arundhati and welcome back to the Aham Yoga channel. I've been teaching yoga for close to a decade now, and the one most common thing I hear often is that people say they can't start a yoga practice because they're not flexible enough. You don't need to be flexible to start a yoga practice. Flexibility is one of the many benefits that comes from a consistent yoga practice. This is part 2, so if you haven't done part 1 of our Yoga for Flexibility, I highly recommend that you pause this video and go do Yoga for Flexibility part 1 first. Do that a few times, get comfortable with it, and then try part 2. For those of you who've already done part 1, grab your props and let's get started. Our first pose today would be Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So come on your hands and knees. Okay. If you do not know how to get the distance right for your downward facing dog, we do have a video about getting the distance between your hands and your feet. I will put a link on the screen somewhere so you can find that video. Now, to get started, open your palms wide, curl your toes in and press into your hands. Lift your hips up and back. Quickly check that your hands and your feet are in two parallel lines. And then start to push your thighs and your hips back. Let your head drop. And then just stay here for a moment. This is where you notice how the back of your legs feel. Sometimes they're a little tighter. Sometimes they're more open. Depends on what time of the day you're practicing. Also how cold or warm it is where you are at. Now, press your hands, bend your right knee to your chest, lift your right heel off the mat, press and push down on the left heel. It doesn't need to touch. And then switch. So you pedal your feet out a little more and then keep going. Bend the right knee, take a breath, bend the left knee. And then as you breathe, a few more rounds of this. This will open up the back body. And then slowly settle into downward facing dog. If your arms get tired, feel free to take a break by dropping your knees and resting in child's pose. Now inhale. Raise your right leg up. Don't worry about how high the leg goes, just raise it up. Now bend the top knee and open your hips. Stack your hips. Think of it as down dog with a twist. Keep opening that knee up and then slowly move forward, high plank, knee to nose, and then sit back in pigeon. Now, if you've done part 1 of our Yoga for Flexibility, you'll notice that we've done this open the knee, open the hip a lot in that one as well. So walk your hands in, lift and roll your shoulders back. You want to drop your tailbone and find that open chest. Inhale here. As you exhale, take it back to down dog. So press your hands, lift the knee up and step it back. Second side. Inhale, lift, bend the left knee and then open up that left hip. Stack both hips. Draw the right hip back here. Strong and straight arms. And now exhale, move to high plank, knee to nose. Pause for a moment. And then you open up that knee and find pigeon. Okay, so for pigeon pose, make sure the knee is on the outside of your hip and then roll your shoulders open. There is another small video on our channel that talks about how to get the hips aligned well in pigeon, and I think it would be worth your while to watch it. I believe it's like a minute or 2 minute long video. It would be really helpful if you've not done pigeon often enough to understand it. Okay, and then put both hands down. Lift up and step both legs back into downward facing dog. Now look ahead, okay, and then step to the top of your mat, okay, Uttanasana. So you could keep a soft bend in your knees, especially if you feel like you've got a tighter hamstring as you practice this, or you could also go slightly wide in your feet, okay. Now inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, interlock both forearms and let your torso just drape downwards towards your mat. Okay, what this will do is it will stretch the glute and hamstrings for us, and you relax the face. Stay here for another breath. If your back troubles you, make sure you bend your knees. And then slowly release your arms and roll yourself up to stand, one vertebra at a time. Come to the top end of your mat. Stand tall, press both feet into your mat. Now inhale, reach your arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, full fold, Uttanasana. Bend your knees if your back troubles you here. Now inhale, step your right leg far back, drop the back knee, keep your back toes curled in. Inhale, sweep your arms up, Anjaneyasana. Really firm both feet here. Exhale, hands on your mat, high plank. Lower to your knees, pull forward in your chest and chin. Inhale, Bhujangasana, low cobra, shoulders roll back. Exhale, press into both hands as you lift your hips up and back. Now inhale, step your right foot through, drop the back knee, keep the toes curled in. Sweep your arms up. So you're pushing your hips forward and under the body a little more. As you exhale, both hands touch the mat. Lift the back knee and step it in. Uttanasana here. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead and hands at your heart center. Left side. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, full fold. Uttanasana. Bent knees, step your left leg far back, drop the back knee, keeping the toes curled in. Sweep your arms overhead, let the hips draw down. As you exhale, find high plank. Lower to your knees, pull forward in your chest and chin. Inhale, point your toes back, lift the chest up. Keep your toes curled in as you pick your hips up and back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then as you inhale, step your left foot forward, keeping the toes curled in. Reach your arms overhead. Both hands on your mat and fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, press the feet, reach through the hands and bring both hands to your heart center. Last round. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, full fold. Inhale, right leg lunges back. Sweep the arms up. Exhale, both hands on your mat, high plank. Lower to your knees, move forward in your chest and chin. Inhale, low cobra, shoulders roll back. Exhale, lift your hips up and back. Inhale, right foot steps forward, drop the back knee. Draw the hips forward and down as your arms reach. And as you exhale, bring both feet to the top of your mat. Inhale, press your feet, reach your hands and hands at your heart center. Last half. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, full fold. Inhale, left leg back, drop the back knee. Sweep your arms overhead as the hips draw forward. Exhale, find high plank. Drop your knees, move forward in your chest and chin. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, hips lift up and back. Inhale, left foot forward. Again, always knee over your ankle. And as you exhale, bring the back knee, back foot all the way to the top. Inhale, lift up. And hands at your heart center. Okay, so those are 2 rounds of classical sun salutations. I highly recommend you pause the video or you rewind a little bit and do a few more rounds if you're feeling tighter in your hamstrings, or where you live it's really cold and you do better with a slightly longer warm up. Okay, now from there, maybe stand near a wall if your balance is tricky, or grab your blocks. Standing figure 4 stretch. If you've seen some of our older videos, we've done this lying down. All you'll do is bend your knees, lift your right leg off your mat and cross your right ankle over your left thigh. At this point, you need to square your hips and sit back. It's almost like you're trying to sit on an invisible high chair or a high stool. Keep drawing your hips back. Now your hands could be on the blocks or palms in front of your chest. Now balance is a little tricky in this one, so make sure you find a focal point. Sit back a little more and then inhale, straighten the leg and release both feet on your mat. Let's try the other side. Bend your knees, lift your left heel, pause here for a moment. Okay, you basically want to tell your right leg, hey, I'm going to be standing only on you at this point. Now lift up, take that ankle over your thigh, flex the foot, draw the hips back and then lower down. Again, find a focal point for your eyes, something that doesn't move, and then sit a little deeper. One more breath here. And then slowly lift up and release. Okay, and moving on from that point, if the next pose that I'm showing you is a little too much, feel free to do figure 4, standing figure 4 one more time. Okay, now for the next pose, bend your top knee, grab your ankle, your right leg, turn the foot up and out. We're moving into a pose called half lotus, standing forward fold. Ardha Padma Uttanasana. So bring that foot up. Most commonly people just leave the foot wherever it goes. Try your best to bring the foot all the way up to the hip without hurting the knee. Inhale, reach your right arm up, take a breath. Now as you exhale, soft bend in your left knee, reach forward with one or both arms and then bring your hands on your blocks or on your mat. Okay, now essentially you want to keep your spine super long. Okay, so reach your spine forward and then square out your hips as much as you can and either stop here or widen your hands and fold in. It's like doing Uttanasana on one leg. And then reverse this, come halfway up. Now soft bend in your supporting knee, reach one or both arms up and then release and come to stand. Shake that leg out. If you're new to this pose, it takes a little getting used to. Okay, you can always go to a wall and use the support of a wall. And you can always pause the video if it's going a little faster than you would like. Now second side, bend your left knee, bring that foot up and turn the foot out. So the foot faces, say, the front of your mat. Now find a focal point, reach your right arm up and then bend that knee, push the hips back and then find your blocks or the mat. What you want is a straight supporting leg, not so much a rounded back, a straight supported leg. Either stop here if that's where your hamstring will let you be, or widen your hands and fold in a little more. The heel stays locked between the torso and the leg. And then inhale, come halfway up, bend the supporting knee, and then slowly lift up and release both hands. What that pose does is it stretches the whole glute, hamstring and outer hip. While it is a little challenging to fold the leg into that position, it's really worth your time and effort to do that a few times. Okay, moving on. Now take your blocks and come to the top of your mat. If you do not have blocks, it's completely fine. you can always use a stash of books or something that resembles a block, or even the seat of a chair. Okay. The next pose is called Padottanasana. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, full fold. Inhale, come halfway up, palms on your shins, lengthen your spine. Exhale, step your right leg far back. Okay, angle the toes to the right corner of your mat. Now, halfway up, inhale, press your feet, straighten your legs. So you press down with your feet and really draw the legs up into your hips. Inhale, lengthen your spine. As you do this, press the left big toe mound, draw the left hip back. And if that doesn't make sense, just look towards the screen, press the left big toe mound and draw the left hip back. So this makes your lower back even. Inhale, lengthen here. And as you exhale, if your hamstrings are super tight, just stay here for now. The rest of you, widen your hands and begin to fold in. One more time, draw your left hip back. Press the right heel, but draw your left hip back. Take a breath. It's okay to feel that your hamstring is tight. This will help it. And then inhale, come halfway up. As you exhale, put both hands down, lift the front leg, step it back, downward facing dog. Now switch your sides out. Bring your right foot forward. Okay. And bring your blocks back in. Angle your left toes to the diagonal corner of your mat or to the left corner of your mat. Inhale, lengthen. This time press the right big toe mound and draw the right hip back. Take a breath here. As you exhale, widen your hands and fold in. One hamstring is always tighter than the other. Just be patient with your hamstrings and work them evenly and equally sincerely. Okay. Again, keep bending the elbows and fold in. Think belly to thigh, chest to knee, head to shin. And then inhale, come halfway up. Widen your, move your blocks out, put your hands down and step back to downward facing dog. One final time, Padottanasana pose. Bring your left foot forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Keep drawing that left hip back. As you draw the left hip back, draw your spine forward. Root your right heel here. Spin that right outer hip and thigh forward. As you exhale, widen your hands and fold in fully as much as you can. And know that this gets better. Wherever you are at today, 500 times later, this would have gotten much better. And then inhale, come halfway up, bend the front knee, take it back, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana is a great pose to increase hamstring, calf, glute flexibility. So it's good to do it often. There are many reasons why we do it, flexibility being one of them. Inhale, lengthen. Now your right foot is ahead. Root your left heel. Even though you feel the sensation of the stretch on the front leg, the back leg is equally important. Inhale, lengthen. Draw the right hip back as you widen your hands and fold. Take a couple of breaths here. It's a big muscle. The glute and hamstrings are big muscles. And then slowly bend the front knee. This time, step to the top of your mat. So bend the front knee, step forward, come into Uttanasana, come halfway up. Exhale, full fold. Inhale, lift both arms overhead and hands at your heart center. Okay, so if you've noticed, we've been getting into a lot of glute and hamstring work. My goal at the end of this class is to make you work towards a forward split, Hanumanasana. But even if we don't get there, okay, this is really good for our lower back. It's good for our hips. It's good for our posture. It's good for circulation. And it makes you feel great. Just creating that sense of freedom in the body gives us a sense of freedom in the mind. So grab a strap. The next pose we're doing is a single leg standing balance. It's called Uttita Hasta Pada Angushtasana. I just love these long names that poses have. Okay, so if balance is an issue, I highly recommend that you go to a wall and you use one arm, the arm that doesn't have the strap, on the wall for support. If your hamstrings are really tight, do the same pose lying down. Okay, that would be the best way to move forward. Now for the rest of you, take your strap, towel or whatever else you're using, bend your right knee, place the strap on the ball mounds of the right foot, and then straighten your leg out. Try not to lean back. Try not to lean back. Okay, it's okay if the leg is a little lower than the hip, but try not to lean. Left arm is straight. Look at something that doesn't move. Take a breath. Press into the strap. And as you inhale, open the left leg out to the left side. Maybe reach your right arm out. Keep pressing the leg out and reach through your right fingers. One more breath here. And then bring the leg back in and release. Okay, it's a little hard to talk in that balance. Just make sure that when you take the leg out, it's not a 180 split. You want to stop where when you're looking ahead at the corner of your eye, you can still see your foot. Okay, because if we go too far out, it throws the hips off balance. Take your right leg up. Bend your knees, lift your right leg up, place the strap on the ball mounds of the foot, nowhere else, on the ball mounds of the foot, and straighten. For me, this is the tighter hamstring, the right leg. It's stronger, but it's much tighter. Okay, so you will notice that too. One is tight, one is a little more open. Just be a little patient. Inhale, press forward, find that focal point, reach your left arm out. Take a breath, press into the strap and stand tall. And open that leg out. Right leg out to the right side. As you press the right leg out, reach through your left fingers. And then slowly bring that in if you haven't fallen over. And then release the strap. Okay, shake the legs out. If you are lying down, bend your knees, roll to your side and come to stand. As always, like in any pose that I do with you on this in this sequence, feel free to pause the video and do the pose a second time if you have the need for it, and more importantly, if you have the time for it. Okay, now from there, if you have blocks, use them. Bend your knees, step your feet wide. Okay, bring your feet under your wrists. Turn your right toes out, left toes in. Bend your right knee. Take your left hand on your hip. If you've done some yoga before, you know this looks like warrior two at this point. Bring your right hand down. I'm going to grab my block. You're welcome to grab your block or do it without. Step in with the back leg, half moon pose. Step out with your right hand. Now inhale, lift your left leg up. Look down, find a focal point for your eyes. Straighten the top leg, straighten the lower leg. From here, you can stop here, especially if you're new to yoga or this is the first video you've ever decided to do, please stop here. Now bend the rest of you, bend your left knee to your chest, grab your left ankle, take a breath. Now reach the foot behind you, just like the down dog with a twist we did earlier, and then start to press the foot away from the body. Ardha Chandra Chapasana, half moon with a bow. If you lose balance, just let go and try again. Keep pressing the leg away from you and inhale, release the leg, half moon pose. And then bend the front knee, step lightly, Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2, and then straighten the front leg. Feet parallel, reset, step or hop. I usually don't jump back and forth in these videos because the camera shakes, but you're more than welcome to step back and to jump back and forth. Now second side, bend your knees, either hop or step your feet apart. Turn your left toes out, right toes in, and Warrior 2 on this side. Right hand on your hip. Unless you're very experienced in half moon Chapasana, then you can absolutely take your arm up and head into the pose. Now step in with your back leg. Move your left arm forward. And as you shift your weight, slowly pick up your back leg. Flex the back foot. Raise the back leg. Don't worry about how high it goes. If you're new, keep it low. And slowly begin to stack your hips. Either stay here or bend your top knee. Grab your ankle. And then slowly start to press back. One more breath here. Pushing that right heel away from your glute. And then slowly straighten the top leg. Bend the front knee. Land softly, Warrior 2. Inhale, stand tall and step or hop both legs together. One final pose here before we start to take it down to our mat. Step or jump your feet wide. Prasarita Padottanasana. Lift and roll your shoulders back and down. Press all four corners of your feet down. As you inhale, reach forward through the crown of your head. Place both hands down or use blocks. Come halfway up. If your hamstrings are tight and your knees are bending, put blocks under your hands and stay there. If your hamstrings feel okay and your lower back does not bother you, continue to fold at your hips. Walk your hands back. Let the head drop. Wide leg, standing, forward, fold. Slowly walk your hands ahead. Okay, turn your right toes to the front of your mat and then walk back to downward facing dog. At this point, drop your knees and then just sit back for a moment. Okay, grab a blanket. If you don't have a blanket, go grab a cushion or something else that you could sit on. And then when you're ready, just sit with your legs ahead before and then straighten your legs out. From here, bend your knees. Step your left leg out to the left side and your right leg out to the right side. It's called Upavishta Konasana, seated angle pose. Flex both feet. Draw the toes towards your shins and then you keep your hands behind you if you can't sit up. If you drop in your lower back and your thighs do this, where your toes roll out, you want to have your hands behind you and sit up nice and tall. If you feel stable there, then I encourage you to fold forward a little bit. Move from your hips, reach your arms in front and then come fully forward. I'm going to stay up just so it sounds a little more clear. Now keep flexing your feet. Reach out through your feet and take a couple of breaths here. It's a great pose for inner thigh flexibility. It's good for the hips, it's good for your lower back, and it's good for circulation. It's also good for glute and hamstrings. Now slowly walk yourself back up. Slide your palms under your thighs. Lean back. Bring your feet together and then straighten your legs out. Now grab your strap. I'm hoping you have your strap around you or whatever else you're using. A towel would work as well. And now just bend and cross both legs. Take your right leg up and hold under your calves. Okay. Now at this point, watch my other leg. It could either stay here and bent, or you could extend the leg if you have the range. I highly recommend that you sit either on a folded blanket, maybe 2 blankets if you're a little tighter in your hips, and stay here. Take a breath, sit up nice and tall, flex the front foot and switch. Okay. Some of you will notice that your leg will just be here, and that's completely okay. You want to, with time, slowly get the leg up. It's like seated pigeon pose almost. Flex the front foot, flex the top leg. Take a breath. And then slowly release this leg. Now, if you are newer to doing that range where you lift the leg up and hold on to it like that, do that pose one more time. Okay, do it one more time, do it 2 more times, whatever you need. The rest of you, we're moving on a little further. Take your strap, place the strap over the foot, over the left foot. Now, hold on to your leg, move the knee out, hold the heel, take a breath, and then bring your left leg on your shoulder. I almost saw some of you roll your eyes at me at this point, but try your best to bring the leg up on your shoulder. It does not happen overnight. It takes a lot of nights to get up here. Okay. Now, push back with your right arm, flex the front foot. Now, inhale. Option, maybe you'll straighten your left leg. Sit up nice and tall. Press out into the strap. Straighten that arm. And then bring it in and release. It's called Bird of Paradise or Birds of Paradise. It's named after the flower. I don't know why I'm doing that. That's the flower in my head. Now bend your other knee. Okay, place the strap. The strap essentially acts as an extension of your arm. If your back troubles you, lie on your back and do happy baby instead of this pose. Okay. Now, if you are tight, stay here. If you are not tight and feeling lazy, then you want to do the whole pose with me. Okay. Now, inhale, roll your right knee out and bring that right knee over your right shoulder. Okay. Now again, one side's always tighter. Just be patient with that side. Give yourself a little more strap if needed on that side. Now inhale, slowly straighten, straighten, straighten. Sit up nice and tall. Press out into that leg. It's not the most glamorous pose. And then slowly bring it in and release. Okay, let's get a quick twist. Cross both ankles. Take your left arm over your right thigh. Roll open your shoulders. Take a breath here. And untwist. Other side. Right arm across your left leg. Roll your left shoulder open. And slowly untwist. Okay. Now here's our final set of poses. Okay. So come on your hands and knees. Now I'm using a bolster. Okay. And I know a bolster is not a prop a lot of us have at home. Okay. You can absolutely use a cushion, couple of blocks. You could use a stack of blankets. I will let you decide. Okay, but watch this. We're working towards, this is one of my favorite poses. We're working towards a forward split where we may not end up in the full split right now, but we're working towards a forward split. So you take your folded blankets and you angle them. If my left leg is going ahead, so my left foot is in front and the blanket and the bolster is pointing towards the corner of my left mat or the left corner of my mat. Now watch this. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. You've done this before, okay? And as you exhale, draw the hips back and flex the foot, okay? At this point, just going to move the bolsters away so you can see. Now inhale, lunge forward. Exhale, draw back. Now inhale, lunge forward. Point your right toes back. Exhale, lunge back. Especially if you are new to forward split work, or if you're having a tighter hamstring in today's practice, stay here. Just every time we switch sides, you switch legs and you move through Anjaneyasana, which is here, and then Ardha Hanumanasana, which is here. Please feel free to use blocks if you need a little more transition support there. Now, for those of you going a little deeper, you want your front leg, your left leg, either on a towel or on a blanket, not on your rubber mat. Just hear me when I say that, not on your rubber mat. Now inhale, sit tall. Notice how the bolster is right below my hips. As you exhale, straighten out the front leg, flex that foot. There's your forward split, but it's with support. Okay, take a moment here and now press your hands, lift, bend that front knee, pause. One more time. Inhale, slide through. Again, sit up nice and tall. You can always build this up even higher. You can take and add 3 more blankets to this, okay? Don't worry about how high you need to go. Just keep working at it where your hips will, one leg goes forward, one leg goes back, and you're working evenly on both sides. And then press your hands down and press, lift, bring it in. Now, swing your left leg back, shift the orientation of your bolsters. It's worth the effort, okay? It's worth the effort. Try not to fight with your hamstrings here. So often I see people just trying to force the hamstring. The only thing you end up doing by pushing the hamstring like that is it becomes more resistant. So just work patiently. Now inhale, slide forward. Now this is a little high for me, okay? I will show you how to modify and go lower each round. And then sit up nice and tall. For those of you who are a little more able, you could absolutely reach your arms up and you could sit up. Only if your back will let you do this. And then slowly bring your arms down. Front foot is always flexed. Press and lift. Take a moment and slide forward again. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm taking one blanket off, okay, because I feel like my hamstring will do a little more than where it was. I should be able to sit and support both hips evenly. The front foot is flexed, toes are going straight up, hip, knee and ankle is straight, back leg is straight. My back leg turns in a little bit, but ideally it would be pretty straight. Okay, again same options here. Stay for just as long as you feel a little bit of a stretch, but it's not overdoing it. And then press and lift. One final set. Take your right leg back, bring your left foot in front. And if the bolster is too high, you can always go lower. For sake of this video, I'm just going to stay on the bolster. Maybe I'll go lower later, we'll see. Okay, but know that a pose like this requires time, effort, patience and dedicated practice. Okay, inhale, stay here. Some of you of course can take your arms up, flex that left foot, drop the tailbone. And then slowly lift up. One final switch. Turn the bolster around or your blankets. and then slide forward. Again, arm options, I'll actually keep my arms down. Okay, keep your arms wherever comfortable. If you feel tighter, sorry, I should have told you this sooner, you want to lean forward. That makes it a little more bearable, if I may use that word, if the hamstring sensation is a little too loud here. And then slowly walk your hands back, lift up, release, put all your props away. We're at the very end. Okay, before we lie down, I want you to know that flexibility is not something you get overnight. You work consistently. There are so many different approaches. There are so many poses we did not do today. Okay, but you have to keep chipping away at it a little bit at a time, one pose at a time. Okay, so keep doing part 1, part 2 as often as you can, and you should absolutely see some results from where you are today to where you will be in the next few months if you do it consistently. Okay, now lie on your back, draw both knees to your chest and drop your knees to your left side. Just a quick twist to release the lower back, and then twist to the other side. And before we head into Shavasana, I want you to remember that we drop a new video every week, and it's always great if you could like, subscribe. A subscribe is the absolute best thing you could do for us. So we are encouraged to give you this content every week. And then share it with people you know who would enjoy this video. And then slowly come back center. Okay. If you want to screenshot or tag us, find me on Facebook, find Aham Yoga on Facebook or Instagram. We're always available there. And then straighten your legs out, have your feet shoulder distance apart. Arms reach by your side. Keep your arms away from the body. And let your eyes fall closed. A very brief Shavasana. But please stay longer if you have the time to do so. Slowly bring yourself back into the body. And in your own time, bend your knees. Roll over to your right side. And gradually press yourself up into a seat. Palms meet at your heart center. A soft breath in and a relaxed breath out. Let the head drop to the heart and slowly blink open your eyes. Thank you for joining me for practice today. I'll see you next week for another practice. Until then, thank you. Bye-bye.